Hello and a very good evening. You're watching the news at 6 on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are the headlines. M. Venkaiah Naidu takes oath as Vice President. Ceremony attended by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, senior BJP leader L.K. Advani, former Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari, former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, among other ministers and members of Parliament. New chairman of Rajya Sabha tells members that adversarial politics shouldn't be allowed to adversely impact the nation, reminds media organizations to reflect on constructive and meaningful debates in Parliament. Rajya Sabha adjourned sine die. Chairman Naidu asserts that monsoon session was productive, in which Upper House held 19 sittings, passed 9 bills and deliberated for more than 80 hours. And Lok Sabha also adjourned sine die, passes 14 bills after 19 sittings in the monsoon session that also witnessed the elections to the posts of President and the Vice President. Well, M. Venkaiah Naidu was sworn in as the 13th Vice President of India today at a ceremony in Rashtrapati Bhavan's Darbar Hall. Here's a look at the eventful day of the new Vice President.
I, M. Venkaiah Naidu.
Venkaiah Naidu was sworn in as the 13th Vice President on Friday. The oath of office was administered to him by newly elected President Ramnath Kovind at the Darbar Hall in Rashtrapati Bhavan.
मैं एम वेंकैया नायडू
ईश्वर की शपथ लेता हूं कि मैं विधि द्वारा स्थापित भारत के संविधान के प्रति सच्ची श्रद्धा और निष्ठा रखूंगा तथा जिस पद को मैं ग्रहण करने वाला हूं उसके कर्तव्यों का श्रद्धापूर्वक निर्वहन करूंगा.
The Vice President's oath-taking ceremony was attended by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, senior BJP leader L.K. Advani, former Vice President Hamid Ansari, former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, among other ministers and members of Parliament. Naidu's day began hours before the swearing-in ceremony, starting with a visit to Rajghat and paying floral tributes to Mahatma Gandhi. The Vice President also visited the memorial of Deen Dayal Upadhyay at the DDU Park in Delhi. His next stop before arriving at Rashtrapati Bhavan for the swearing-in ceremony was at Patel Chowk, where he paid homage to Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Naidu also paid tribute to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's statue on entering Parliament as the Vice President after his swearing-in, after which he took over as the chairman of the Rajya Sabha. Naidu is the second BJP leader to become Vice President after Bhairav Singh Shekhawat, whose tenure lasted from 2002 to 2007. A two-term BJP president, Naidu was also elected to Rajya Sabha 3 times from Karnataka. He represented Rajasthan in the upper house of parliament before he was nominated to the Vice President's post by the NDA. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, newly elected Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu took over as chairman of the Rajya Sabha soon after taking oath as the 13th Vice President of India. Chairman Naidu asserted that he would steer the functioning of the House without fear of favour and also uphold its dignity and decorum with the cooperation of all its members.
Former Union Minister M. Venkaiah Naidu took over as the Rajya Sabha chairman on Friday, the last day of the monsoon session of Parliament. Chairman Naidu urged all members to work for the nation and stressed that adversarial politics should not be allowed to make an adverse impact on India.
Now I am an all-party man, above party politics. और वो जो आनंद शर्मा जी ने अपेक्षा व्यक्त किया निरपेक्षा के संदर्भ में, मैं उनका अपेक्षा को जरूर पूरा करूंगा, निश्चिंत रहिए. I'll be a person above politics. And then I will try to see that this house is functional. Every one of you get an opportunity. And small or big is not the issue. But the only thing is if everybody follows the rules and regulations or the procedures, then everybody will definitely get an opportunity.
The new chairman also urged media organizations to reflect on constructive and meaningful debates in Parliament.
You report what is happening here. I'm not saying I have no right to advise you that way. But at the same time, report what also is positively happening in the House, what is being constructively debated. That is the duty, sacred duty of the media also. So I thought I should give this advice from the chair to the friends from the media also. Because mere sensationalism alone is not going to happen. And one headline is not going to be a deadline. The main line is the thinking of the parliamentarians and the corrective decision of the parliamentarians. That is the main line. That has to be taken care.
Starting his political journey as a student leader, Chairman Naidu has been a four-time Rajya Sabha member and a key member of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's cabinet. The new chairman also broke a 30-year-old record by securing the highest number of votes in the vice presidential polls. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday said it was a tribute to the Indian democracy that people rise from humble backgrounds to the highest constitutional positions as he joined members of the Rajya Sabha in welcoming M. Venkaiah Naidu as the chairman of the House. Prime Minister Modi also said that the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana was brought in by Chairman Naidu.
Leading the felicitations in the upper house, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that even as Minister for Urban Development, Chairman Naidu gave more inputs on rural and farmer issues. The Prime Minister also observed that Chairman Naidu was the first Vice President who was born in independent India.
सभापति जी, सदन की तरफ से, देशवासियों की तरफ से आपको बहुत-बहुत बधाई और बहुत-बहुत शुभकामनाएं। मैं समझता हूं शायद वो अकेले ऐसे हैं जो इतने सालों तक इसी परिसर में, इन्हीं सबके बीच में पले हैं, बड़े हैं। शायद ही देश को पहले ऐसे उपराष्ट्रपति मिले हैं जो इस सदन की हर बारीकी से परिचित हैं।
Deputy Chairman P.J. Kurian, Leader of the House Arun Jaitley and Leader of the Opposition Ghulam Nabi Azad accorded a warm welcome to Chairman Naidu.
I heartily welcome you here and congratulating you and extending you all the best. My greetings and best wishes.
Mr. Chairman, sir, yours has been a journey close to 5 decades of a grassroots level political worker who literally has climbed every step of the political ladder. And he has worked his way and worked hard to reach this position.
स्पीकर हो या चेयरमैन राज्यसभा, हमें याद दिलाता है जब हम कुर्सी पे बैठते हैं कि हम निष्पक्ष हैं, आप नो पार्टी पर्सन, बल्कि मैं कहूँगा कि उस वक़्त इंसान का जज हो या ऐसे पद हो, इंसान सिर्फ इंसान रहता है, उसका धर्म उसके मन में होता है, लेकिन न्याय करते वक़्त न उसका धर्म होता है न पार्टी होती है।
Members across the political spectrum welcomed Chairman Naidu and hailed his vast parliamentary experience.
ग्रामीण विकास मंत्री थे तो संसद सदस्य सबसे ज़्यादा प्रसन्न आपसे ही थे, क्योंकि जो एमपीज को आपने दिया एज मंत्री रहते हुए वो किसी मंत्री ने नहीं दिया।
It is a well-known fact that our honorable chairman was very close with our honorable Amma. Had she been alive, she would have been more happier than anybody else. She would have attended this function. So definitely our honorable chairman is having the blessings of honorable Amma.
We wish you very well, sir. And you have made acronyms a new national pastime. So I have had the courage, as I conclude, with one acronym, because we believe that's your role here, and that acronym is for Naidu. N-A-I-D-U. Now, A, all, I, India, D, dearest. So it's now, all India's dearest umpire.
एक समय कोई पत्रकार ने पूछा कि आप दोनों जो है एक ही जगह पर कैसे हैं, एक दूसरे के खिलाफ इतने बोलते हो। तो वेंकैया नायडू जी, आप तो जानते हैं उनकी सेंस ऑफ ह्यूमर जो है, तो उसने पत्रकार से यही कहा कि मैं क्या करूं, अगर मैं ट्रेन में चढ़ गया और कंपार्टमेंट में सीताराम को देखूं तो क्या मैं उतर जाऊं?
एक दिन था, आप जब युद्ध थे तो आंध्र प्रदेश से देश के लिए बोल रहे थे। एक दिन था तो आप राइट साइड से बोल रहे थे और एक दिन था आप लेफ्ट साइड से बोल रहे थे। लेकिन आज गणतंत्र के सर्वोच्च पद में रह के आज लेफ्ट से राइट, बीच और देश के बात सुनेंगे। इससे हमें अंदाज़ा हो रहा है कि आप अपने जीवन में कितना मेहनत किए होंगे।
मुझे पूरी उम्मीद है कि ये आज सही बात है कि आज आपका जो परिचय सबको मालूम है, दिया गया आज फिर से, लेकिन मालूम है कि आप कैसे, कहाँ से और इस पद पर पहुँचे। ये एक एग्जाम्पल है और ये सिर्फ अपनी मेहनत से ही हासिल हो सकता है, अपनी निष्ठा से हासिल हो सकता है और उससे आपने ये हासिल किया।
You started as a grassroots worker in a village, transcended your path, and you come to this high constitutional authority position. And you are now the custodian of the constitution as well as the custodian of this house.
मैं आपको जम्मू कश्मीर के लोगों की तरफ से और अपनी सरकार चीफ मिनिस्टर महबूब तरफ से आपको बहुत मुबारक देता हूँ। सर, मुझे बहुत खुशी हुई कि आप, जब हमने सुना कि आपका फार्म भरने वाला है, उसी दिन आप जम्मू कश्मीर स्टेट में थे, तो सारी जम्मू कश्मीर में एक उम्मीद सी हो गई कि आज हमारे जो वाइस प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया होंगे वो आप अफसर होंगे।
हमेशा आपकी पहचान एक आंदोलनकारी के रूप में रही है। जहाँ भी संघर्ष है, जहाँ भी झगड़ा है गरीबों के लिए, वहाँ वेंकैया जी का नेतृत्व हमेशा रहा है।
Earlier in the day, Chairman Naidu was sworn in as the 13th Vice President of India at Rashtrapati Bhavan. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, Rajya Sabha was adjourned sine die on Friday by Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu, bringing an end to the monsoon session. Chairman Naidu asserted that the session was productive. The upper house had 19 sittings during which it deliberated for more than 80 hours.
The 243rd session of the Rajya Sabha came to a close on Friday. The upper house passed or returned 9 government bills after many significant debates. However, about 25 hours were lost on contentious issues.
The 243rd session of Rajya Sabha, which commenced on July 17, 2017, comes to a close today. The House had 18 plus sittings, during which it deliberated for more than 78 hours. Overall, the session was productive, with the debates on various topics of national concern raised with occasional disruptions. 9 government bills were passed and 4 were withdrawn. Private members introduced 13 bills.
77 zero-hour submissions of urgent public importance were made. Members sought answers from several ministers on administrative decisions through 285 starred and 3,040 unstarred questions. A reference was also made on the occasion of the 75th anniversary of the Quit India movement.
A reference was made on the occasion of the 75th anniversary of the Quit India movement, followed by a discussion and unanimous adoption of a resolution. The question hour functioned on 11 out of 18 scheduled days. Out of the 270 starred questions listed, 46 were orally answered and 187 supplementaries were raised.
13 private member bills were introduced, while members laid 87 special mentions on matters of public importance. 113 reports of various parliamentary committees were presented. 2 new members were elected from Goa and Madhya Pradesh, while 2 members resigned. Monsoon session 2017 commenced on July 17, 2017, during which the Prime Minister and members of the House also bid farewell to Muhammad Hamid Ansari, the former chairman of the Rajya Sabha.
Honorable members, the House stands adjourned sine die.
Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
The Lok Sabha was also adjourned sine die on Friday. 14 bills were passed after 19 sittings during the monsoon session. Heated debates and verbal duels were also witnessed between the opposition and Treasury benches during the session on vital issues like cow lynching and mob violence, agrarian crisis and the attack on Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi in Gujarat. A special discussion was also held on the 75th anniversary of the Quit India movement. 6 Congress MPs were suspended for 5 days for their improper conduct towards the Speaker. The session also witnessed the elections to the posts of President and Vice President of the country. In other news, now leaders of 18 opposition parties met in the capital today to chalk out a common strategy to corner the NDA government on a range of issues. The meeting was chaired by Congress President Sonia Gandhi and was attended by top leaders of the Trinamool Congress, Left, Samajwadi Party, National Conference, JDU and DA. Conspicuous by his absence was Sharad Pawar's NCP, who had earlier confirmed that he would depute a representative to the session. Here's a roundup of the other news from across the country and nationwide. Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti met Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Delhi. A 3-judge Supreme Court bench is currently hearing a petition against Article 35A that empowers the Jammu and Kashmir legislature to define the state's permanent residents and their special rights and privileges. After the meeting, Mufti said that the Prime Minister had assured her that Article 370 and 35A will be respected. An unmanned aerial vehicle of the Indian Air Force crashed in Kathua district of Kashmir. The incident took place at Nadoli village and no casualties or loss of property was reported. Soldiers rushed to the crash site and a team of police and Air Force personnel seized the remains of the UAV. A probe has been launched in the matter to determine the cause of the crash. The Maharashtra government's appeal against the Bombay High Court's decision to allow residents to store and consume beef brought from outside the state will be heard in the Supreme Court. The state government's special leave petition challenges High Court decision to strike down 2 controversial provisions of the law that made it an offence to carry or keep beef at home in Maharashtra. It's time for a short break now, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
We must address and bring in that we have now more of medical infrastructure facilities which can detect cancer. We must educate right from the schooling to undergraduates to the postgraduates about how to go about this cancer preventive oncology. We learn from our failures. You know, your good judgment will always come from your failures. We'll have 9 failures and then 10th will be success.
Watch Eureka with Dr. Anil Suri, Director at National Institute of Immunology, only on Rajya Sabha television.
The sacred relics of Buddha were unearthed in Piprava in Uttar Pradesh. Buddhist monks from all over the world visit the National Museum to pay their respects. These charred bone fragments of Buddha are housed in the gold canopy gifted by the royal family of Thailand.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Well, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj met her Bhutanese counterpart Damcho Dorji in Nepal on Friday on the sidelines of the BIMSTEC meet. The two discussed bilateral issues amidst the standoff between Indian and Chinese troops in Doklam. India and China have been locked in a face-off in the Doklam area of Sikkim since June 16th after Indian troops stopped the Chinese army from building a road in the area. Caught between the two neighbors, Bhutan recently rejected Beijing's claim about belonging to China.
Mr. Minister, if you would kindly just share, what did you discuss with the Minister?
We hope that the situation in Doklam will be resolved peacefully and amicably.
Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has said he wants a face-to-face meeting with US President Donald Trump. He told the newly elected Constituent Assembly that he wanted a personal conversation when the two leaders attended the UN General Assembly in New York next month. Trump recently imposed sanctions on Maduro, accusing him of undermining democracy. Here's a report. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro recognized the Socialist Party-dominated Constituent Assembly as the country's most powerful institution on Thursday in his first appearance at the highly criticized legislative body that was inaugurated on the 4th of August.
Tenemos Asamblea Nacional Constituyente y vengo a reconocer sus poderes plenipotenciarios, soberanos, originarios y magnos para regir los destinos de la República.
He also called for a summit of heads of state of the ALBA trade bloc to respond to recent criticism from the Organization of American States.
Yo he planteado oficialmente al presidente Salvador Sánchez Serén, presidente de la hermana República de El Salvador, con el apoyo de los 14 países del ALBA, que se convoque de urgencia y de inmediato a una cumbre de jefes de Estado y de Gobierno.
The recent election of the 545-member assembly drew international condemnation for usurping the authority of Venezuela's opposition-controlled Congress. Critics have said that the election cast aside any remaining checks on Maduro's power. Maduro has said that the assembly is the country's only chance at securing peace and prosperity after 4 months of unrest and anti-government protests that have left more than 120 people dead. In an address that repeatedly brought assembly members to their feet in applause, Maduro called for a new governance framework for Venezuela aimed at perfecting the constitution of 1999. Maduro also said that he would challenge the US sanctions in an American court. The president received a succession of standing ovations from the Constituent Assembly, which is dominated by his supporters.
También fueron ayer premiados con las pretendidas sanciones hombres y mujeres por el único delito, señores, Dios santo, de haber organizado unas elecciones en un país hasta donde se cree el emperador Trump que es gobernador del mundo.
The opposition boycotted the July 30th election of the assembly and called for an early presidential vote that it was sure Maduro would lose for having presided over a severe economic recession that has been accompanied by shortages of food and medicine. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television. Well, here's a roundup of the other news from across the world in Global Buzz. At least 36 people were killed and several injured when a coach crashed into the wall of an expressway tunnel in northern China on Friday. According to officials, the coach crashed at the Qinling Tunnel in Ankang, a city in Shanxi province. The bus was on its way from Chengdu in southwest Sichuan province. It was carrying 49 people at the time of the crash. US President Donald Trump has declared the opioid epidemic a national emergency and said his administration is drafting papers to make it official. The move comes a week after a White House commission on the opioid crisis made the recommendation. The declaration could help unlock more support and resources to address the drug overdose epidemic, such as additional funding and expanded access to various forms of treatment. It also gives the government more flexibility in waiving rules and restrictions to expedite action. Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Sen on Friday accused neighboring Laos of sending troops into its territory in April. He set an August 17th deadline for their departure and warned that Cambodia would mobilize its soldiers to the border area. Laos and Cambodia have been embroiled in a territorial and border demarcation dispute, but no agreement on the borderline has been made. Cambodian media reports Prime Minister Hun Sen plans to meet his Laotian counterpart on Saturday to talk about the issue. And finally, let's shift focus and bring you up to date with some news from the world of sports in Sports Beat. Davinder Singh Kang became the first Indian to qualify for the final round of the javelin throw at the IAAF World Athletics Championships in London. Kang was carrying a shoulder injury but cleared the automatic qualification mark of 83 meters in his third and final throw and sent the iron spear to a distance of 84.22 meters. Kang's best effort of 84.22 meters put him in the 7th position among the final round qualifiers. Well, the Indian men's hockey team suffered their second defeat as they lost 1-3 to host Belgium in Boom in the ongoing 5-match tour of Europe. India had also lost their opening game of the tour by a solitary goal to Belgium. The Indians will next face Netherlands on Sunday and Monday and Austria on the 16th of August. Canadian Denis Shapovalov beat top-seeded Rafael Nadal in the third round of the Rogers Cup. Shapovalov beat Nadal 3-6, 6-4, 7-6 to become the youngest player to ever reach the quarterfinals of an ATP Masters 1000 event. He will now face Adrian Manarino in the quarterfinals. In another match, Roger Federer beat David Ferrer 4-6, 6-4, 6-2. Federer will face 12th-seeded Roberto Bautista Agut in the quarterfinal. Ramil Guliev, who represented Turkey after switching allegiance from Azerbaijan, pulled off a shock 200 meters victory at the World Championships and pushed Wade van Niekerk to second place. Guliev, who had never won a medal in a senior global event, finished the 200 meters event in 20.09 seconds. In 400 meters hurdles, American Corey Carter pulled off another shock, achieving the rare feat of winning the 400 meters hurdles title from the outside lane. Well, that's it on this newscast. Have a good evening.